Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here and we're on holiday. It's our first morning here in Tenerife. It's still quite early, we're a little bit tired, but we're getting ourselves up to go down for breakfast. But on the plane yesterday I finished A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and I knew that I was enjoying this one. I was putting it down every now and again to savour it. I just thought this was brilliant and it was my next 5-star read. This is set in the UK. I think Holly is a UK YA author and the story centres around Pip. She lives with her mum and her stepdad and stepbrother, and they're in a multi-ethnicity household, and she talks a little bit about that very briefly, but the main crux of the story is that she's doing an extra project to get herself into university, and the project, they've been told, can be on anything, and she's decided to look into this murder that happened in their town 5 years before. Basically what is thought to have happened is this young 17-year-old girl has gone out one night, she's not come home, and she's disappeared, and then all of the suspicion lies on the boyfriend. The boyfriend ends up killing himself, and then they assume that it's him. There's all the sort of evidence pointing in that way, and then the case is closed. The family of this boy are left being shunned by the local people and tormented and treated extremely badly. But Pip doesn't think it all rings true. She doesn't think that how we think is how it's gone down, and she wants to investigate into it and see if she can prove that the boy was innocent. So she goes on this journey through this. We meet various different characters, and there's all sorts of multimedia in there. She uses reports, there's pictures she's taken on her phone for us to look at, as well as plenty of just regular writing. And I just thought it was really clever. There was twists, there was turns, and what Holly does really well is she used what you would logically think yourself if you were doing this investigation, and following those logical steps and then sort of discounting them. And so we really did get led on this journey that we would probably go on ourselves if this is what we were doing. And I just thought it was really clever, really good, a really feasible ending to this sort of story, and brilliant. I definitely recommend it. A full 5 stars from me. So now I'm going to be moving on to my next book today by the pool, but I'm going to go and get dressed and get ready to go and sit on the sun lounger. Hi guys, I'm going to make this a quick one because long story short, we've been here for a day and a half and the hotel we're staying at is just not for us. There's loads of people smoking around the pool, and we're non-smokers, and I worry about Matilda being around all that smoke. It's really noisy at night for me and I'm just not sleeping. There's a lot of teenagers here making quite a lot of noise. And the pool is, I don't know what they put in it, maybe it's going to be the same wherever, but the pool, they put something in it to clean it and it tastes disgusting. So anyway, long story short, we've spoken to the people that we booked through, which I'll tell you is Jet2 Holidays, because there's nothing wrong with the hotel itself. The staff here are amazing and Jet2 have been brilliant, but we're moving hotels back to a hotel we've stayed at previously, which is just down the road. We know that we like it, and it's only costing us a couple of £100 more, which I'm super pleased with, and I couldn't ask for more really. But I'm just dropping in really to tell you that I finished The Brightest Stars by Anna Todd. Now I know that Anna Todd's After series has a little bit of controversy about it, about the relationships, but I wanted to try this one. I enjoyed After, I quite liked the Netflix film as well, and I thought I would try this one. It was sort of a military type romance. This is the first time I've ever given 1 star. Normally if it got to this stage I would have DNF'd it. We're on holiday, I like to read my books on holiday. It's weird, isn't it? You can DNF at home but I just won't DNF on holiday. It's 1 star. There was no romance really, there was no chemistry, there was no major great plot, there was no great writing. It just wasn't for me, so I can't recommend this one I'm afraid, and I'm going to leave it in my hotel room. But I've got to finish packing now and move on to the next hotel, so hopefully when I see you next we'll be there. Okay, bye. Okay, so we've just come back from the pool and I have finished The Simple World by K.A. Tucker, and I loved this book. I really loved it. It's the story of Calla, and at the beginning we learn that her mother has left Alaska and left her father. She can't deal with the harsh climate and the way things are in Alaska, so she's taken her, I think it's 17-month-old daughter Calla, and they've gone to Toronto. We then skip and forward, and Calla is now 26 years old. She's lived in Toronto with her mum and her stepfather. She still lives in their house, but she's had a job, she's been to university, she's got a boyfriend, but at the very beginning of the book she loses her job. And she discovers that her father has lung cancer, and she decides to head off to Alaska to see him because she hasn't got a job to worry about. So she decides that she will go and try and reconnect with him. She hasn't really spoken to him for over 10 years, I think it is. Things have sort of, they've lost touch. He never really came to see her. He never came to see her, and so they haven't really got on a relationship. She ends up going over there, and he has an aeroplane business. He's with these tiny planes, and she realises sort of the harshness of how people live there and how different it is. And there is a pilot that works for her father who really rubs her up the wrong way, but obviously this is the sort of hate to love plot line, and so we're following the plot of both that and that slow burn romance, and we're also following this connection with her father and learning more about him and her mother. And I just really loved this. I just thought all aspects were brilliant. I thought Calla's stepfather was really great. He was such a wonderful guy. I really loved him. He was a psychotherapist. He was also very, very aware of her mother's love for her father and how she never really got over it. And he sort of takes it all in his stride. He offers Calla advice. I just thought this was brilliant. And actually I was just sitting around the swimming pool bawling my eyes out, so I was pleased to have my sunglasses on. It was just really great, and I definitely recommend this one. And it's a 5-star read. So I've had 2 5-star reads since I've been here, which is great, but also not great because I don't get rid of my 5-star reads. So now I've got to cart them back in my suitcase. Normally if I read a book and it's not 5 stars and I'm on holiday, I leave it in the sort of little areas where you can dump books when you're in hotels, but I shall be shipping this one and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder back home because I loved them both. And now I'm moving on to The Jewel by Amy Ewing, which was picked by my daughter in my latest Snakes and Ladders TBR. This is the only sort of YA fantasy I've bought on holiday with me. The rest are sort of more contemporary books, so we'll see. Am I in the mood for this? I don't know. Will I enjoy it? I don't know. Will I really love it and then be gutted I haven't got the rest in the series out here with me because they are at home? I don't know, but we shall see. Hi again. So I'm coming to you from the bedroom again, but I finished another book, and I have finished The Jewel by Amy Ewing. This was a book that was picked for me by Matilda. She picked this one off my shelf. It's the first in a trilogy, and the rest of them are at home, which I'm a bit sad about now because actually I really did end up enjoying this one. It's set in a world where we have these surrogates. They're the ones that have babies for these people that live in this sort of central area, the royalty called the Jewel. And from what I can gather, there is sort of the world, or the towns, are split up with the Jewel right in the middle, and then as you go further out people get poorer and poorer and sort of more working class, and it's got to the stage where the royalty can't have their own babies, and so they have these surrogates. But as well as that, there's also these magical abilities that the surrogates have in order for growth, changing colour, changing shape. It's called auguries, and we're following a surrogate called Violet, and we're following her story. We're finding out more about this world, about the surrogates through her. She's a surrogate. She's just at the stage where she's been sold off at auction to royalty, and we're just learning about the sort of politics and the backstabbing and the gossip. She's fallen in love with someone who's a companion, someone that's hired to come in and sort of help girls learn how to sort of deal with men and etiquette, but also ends up having to sleep with a lot of their mothers and things, and it's quite a corrupt and dark world. There is sort of an uprising, I think, and there's people that are unlikely helpers, but we don't know who they are. And then the end of this was really surprising, who ended up stepping up at the end. So I can't wait to read the next one, but I have to wait till I go home. So I really enjoyed that one. I'm going to give it 4 stars. And the next one I think that I'm quite drawn to is Tulip Taylor by Anna Mainwaring. And this just looks really fun. The blurb here, someone has said, huge fun and so refreshing, a Pride and Prejudice for our times. It says it's about a teen makeup vlogger called Tulip who's challenged to go on this TV survival show, and can she prove that she's more than just a pretty face. I think this is going to be a fun, fast read, but I'll let you know soon how I get on. Hi everyone, so another day and another book, and I've just finished Tulip Taylor. This is by Anna Mainwaring, and I really ended up enjoying this one. I wasn't sure if it would just be a little bit silly, but actually underneath this sort of light-hearted story there is quite an important message. At the start we're introduced to Tulip. She comes from a single parent family. Her father lives somewhere else, and her mother has utilised social media in terms like by doing her own blog. She's got twin younger sisters, Tulip, and also inspiring Tulip to set up a makeup vlog. So they're earning money through blogging and products and all those things that on BookTube we know about. Tulip works as well as going to school. She uses makeup as a way of having fun and creating what she sees as sort of an artistic palette, using her artistry and makeup to have fun and enjoy herself. And then this new boy starts at school, and he's created a bit of a social media stir. His father runs this TV show, which I can only think is like if Bear Grylls did sort of a outward bound TV show, a bit like Survivor I suppose, and they normally do it for adults, but they're doing a children's version, and somehow because of some sort of war going on with her and this boy, she ends up participating. Now I don't want to spoil what happens, but the whole aim of this book I think is to take a look at whether social media is taking over who you are, and what you'll do in terms of making it on social media, what you want from your life, taking control of your own life and taking control of your own story on social media, which I think is quite interesting. And I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed where it went at the end. I really enjoyed that maybe romance wasn't the main crux of this book. It was more about Tulip's journey and Tulip's inner voice and what it was telling Tulip to do. And I thought she was a really nice character. I really liked her. She was really strong and empowering, and really stood up for herself, which I think is really good. So yes, a good 4-star read, and I'm really pleased. And now I'll be moving on to my next one. Hiya, so another day, another book. Please don't worry about this redness, it's not actually burnt, I've just got a really bad heat rash. So I have just finished The July Girls. Hold on, let me get it up the right way. This is a proof copy. It's The July Girls by Phoebe Locke. This was in the blurb set to be a sort of thriller. You're led to believe that it's about a girl who suspects that her father is involved in something. Maybe there's some sort of serial killer aspect to this, and I just thought it sounded really interesting. The voice of this is, obviously we're following this girl. At the beginning she's quite young. I think she's only about 10 maybe a little bit older, and we're following her journey really over the years, suspecting that there's something going on. It's just her dad and her elder sister who's 17, and really is sort of a mother figure for her. And it's just about their lives and about how she suspects there's something going on with her father. I don't want to say too much because I think it would really spoil it, but I really enjoyed the voice in this. I enjoyed the twists and turns. Just when you kind of thought you knew what was going on, things changed, and then they changed again. There were certain aspects in this that I was a little bit I just couldn't really get on board with, and obviously I can't say what they are because it would be spoilers, so that would be so I apologise. And there wasn't so much of a thrilling aspect to this. I didn't find that tension, that nervousness, that worry that you get often with like a thriller. But it was a real compulsive read. I mean, I read it in a day. It was a page turner, and I really enjoyed the experience of reading it. I enjoyed where it ended up, and I enjoyed the story itself. So I'm going to give this one a 4 stars. So another good book for holiday. I think they've all been, oh no, there's been one bad one, hasn't there? But they've all been 4 or 5 stars other than the one dud. we're on our last day now, so we'll be heading home tomorrow. I'm hoping maybe I'll read another book. I quite like to read a book on the plane. So next time you see me, I'll be wrapping this up back in England and letting you know if I've read anything more before the end of my holiday. But I'll see you later. Hi guys, well, as you can see, I'm home. I'm in the book room. We've not been back more than about an hour. I've got no makeup on today because I don't like to wear makeup when I travel. But I have been bitten to shreds overnight. I think I look like I've got chicken pox. They just decided to bite me up, and I've got bites on my head and my eyes gone a bit swollen. I don't know what's going on, but I didn't end up reading on the plane. In the end, I ended up watching a film. I watched Shazam, which I thought was brilliant. It was a really fun film to watch. So I haven't got any more books to talk to you about, but I wanted to just come on and round off my holiday reading. I had a really good time. I read loads. I can't go back. I can't even string words together because I'm so tired. I can't wait to go back to the hotel that we stayed at again at Christmas. If you ever go to Tenerife and you want to stay in Costa Rica, it's called the Hovuma La Pinta Beachfront. It's such a great family-friendly hotel. It's got a great kids club. It's got really good shows in the evening. The all-inclusive is really nice. The buffet and the drinks are really lovely. They're quite good for vegetarians, which I am. The room's really lovely. They're one-bedroom apartments, which is really good, so that we have a separate bedroom. It was just a really lovely trip, so I'm pleased that we ended up moving because we were in a different hotel before, which you might remember from the beginning. Anyway, I haven't read any more, but I've made a good crack at my reading. I'm not sure where I'm at with my newts at the moment, but I will have to come back to you with, I'll do like a newts wrap up if I, well, even if I don't complete it, but when I complete it, when I'm gonna do it, I'll come back with a bit more of a wrap up on that. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.